problem over at the other building. This is a holiday, and people are on their holiday, so there was nobody to open that. But luckily, Mark had the keys for this place, so we're in good luck. Okay, I'd like to start the regular meeting of the Morongo Basin Municipal Advisory Council, Monday, October 14th, 2019. Will you join us for the pledge? Where's the
Behind you.
Oh, behind me. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Pioneer Town, Steve Bardwell. Here. Yucca Mesa, Tom Ziegert.
Here.
Landers, Michelle Cicero.
Here.
Joshua Tree, Ellen Jackman.
Here.
Desert Heights, Pat Flanagan.
Here.
Wonder Valley, Steve Reyes.
Here.
Morongo Valley, Gail Swearitt.
Here.
Copper Mountain Mesa, Mary Helen Tuttle. Here. Johnson Valley, Jim Harvey.
Here.
Everybody's here.
Wow.
Let's roll.
Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda?
Yes.
Do I have
I'd like to make a motion that we make a change because tonight, I'd like to, on the agenda, our presentation tonight is Joe Rudden from the Morongo Basin Healthcare District, and part of his presentation is he wants us to have a tour of the bus, and I would rather not take the time to take everybody out there and bring you all in, so how about we move everything up and make his presentation at the end, and we're just going to keep the meeting chopping along. How's that?
a
It's a
second?
long motion.
I'm going. I make the motion.
Second. Sorry.
I'll second the motion. Can we have a brief discussion before we adopt the agenda? Just very brief.
Okay.
Well, let's all first do.
First, the motion.
Aye.
The motion's been made and I seconded it, and I'm asking for a brief conversation before we vote.
Can we make, before we vote on the agenda?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Just
okay.
discussion on the adoption.
Of course.
Okay, real quickly, I would just respectfully ask that during the course of the meeting that we, on items of discussion and possible action, that the council get a chance to discuss the item before it goes open for further discussion.
Oh, sure.
On the last agenda, there was kind of some chaos back and forth, and some of the council members didn't get to talk on the item before it was tabled, so.
Okay. No problem. Yeah, I mean, usually that's how it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And I'd like to make a motion about the rules regarding item I.
Okay.
Adhering to what we've just agreed to, that the rules for the audience be no more than 5 for and 5 against, with a 2-minute time limit.
Okay.
Is there a second? If I can just come to it.
Okay.
I don't understand the motion.
No, I don't either. Could you repeat
Regarding
that?
the resolution, the rules for discussing the resolution, adhering to what we've already agreed to about the members of the MAC speaking first, that there be a limit of 5 for and 5 against as we speak. Once 5 people have spoken for it, then no one else can speak for it. And once 5 people
Are you
speak
talking-
against it,
May I ask, excuse me, are you talking public comment or are you
yes,
talking?
public comment.
Right, I gotcha.
With a minimum.
Okay, there's a number of people who have asked for public comment time to talk about it, so why don't we just do it all then?
It's just because it's going to, it could take, really? Do we need more than 5? We're voting on it. Do
Well,
we need more than 5 comments
yes,
for and 5 against?
You're voting on it based on.
Let's just ask everyone
Yeah,
who wants
thank you,
to speak
Miriam.
on it to speak for 2 minutes.
All right?
For 3 minutes?
2. A 2-minute limit.
A 2-minute limit, because there's going to be a lot of people wanting to speak on this issue.
And you're gonna vote without consulting the public?
No, that's why you get to speak first.
2
No, you're gonna
minutes,
speak
5
first.
people.
Not
No.
5
No.
people.
The 5 people's been eliminated.
No.
Just 2 minutes.
I'd like to remind the council that we have a limit of 3 comments per item and 3 minutes per comment.
What?
On call for public comment, we have a limit of 3 comments per item and 3 minutes per comment.
Well,
So I was extending it, I was extending the
Yeah.
limit. and shorting, I was extending the amount of comments, but shorting.
Well, I think
the
we're getting
number.
kind of lost. My suggestion, all due respect, I think we're getting kind of lost in some stuff.
It's not public comment, it's comment on the agenda item.
Yeah.
I understand, but I've got public, so are you saying, so I'm just asking, would you then prefer that there's about 7 people who wish to speak on the resolution? Do they speak at the resolution, or do
Yes.
they speak at public comment?
No, they speak before we vote on the resolution.
Okay, then I will pull them, and we will call them one at a time, and then they'll each
Before
get
then.
2 minutes. How's that?
I'll think about
Does
it.
that fit with you?
That's
Yeah.
fine with me.
Okay, all right,
But-
I'll pull them out, no problem, let me count them right now.
But if we were going to do that, I'd need a second.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye.
What were we voting on? I don't even know.
The resolution when it comes up.
We have one,
Oh.
no, the way I understand what Tom's saying, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 7 people who wish to speak about the resolution. So we're going to let them speak before we discuss the resolution.
Before we vote on the resolution.
Yeah, before we vote, yes. And they're each going to get 2 minutes.
So all the members of the council will have a chance to deliberate
Yeah.
this item, and then it'll go to public comment.
And then hear what they say, and then we can vote.
Do you have one for me?
What's your name?
Sure.
Okay, let me see.
I think I did that.
Yeah, gotcha. I assumed that's what you wanted. Gotcha.
Okay,
So,
has-
excuse me, I'm gonna vote no on that motion. I don't wanna limit public comment to 2 minutes. You only have 7 cards, I don't understand why we would cut somebody off if they were speaking relevant to the item. So I just wanna make sure that that's noted. I voted no.
Because right now, it's only, by procedure, it's only 3 comments per issue, so.
Okay.
has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from the July 8th meeting?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Will we approve the minutes?
September meeting?
I'll second.
September.
I think you said
Did you have a
July.
question?
I think you said July. Did you mean September?
That's what it says here, July.
Well, it should be the September minutes.
Oh, you're looking at the minutes, dear, you're not looking at the agenda.
Got it. So it's September. Sorry about that. Okay,
I move that we approve the minutes.
okay, and
Second?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. There's no memorial adjournment now. Public safety, community service reports, county fire.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi,
Mr.
Scott.
Tuttle.
Hi there. For those who don't know me, Scott Tuttle. I'm a battalion chief of San Bernardino County Fire Department here in the Morongo Basin. Give you a quick report. Let's see. So our calls for service for the month of September. Johnson Valley had 11 calls. Joshua Tree had 137 calls. Landers had 42 calls. Pioneer Town had 4. Wonder Valley had 18. Yucca Mesa had 36. For a total of 248. So last week was Fire Prevention Week. That's a national week designated to commemorate the Great Chicago Fire that happened on October 8th of 1871. So every year, whatever the date of October 9th falls on, we celebrate or we recognize that week as Fire Prevention Week. So we use that to get the word out to the community about the fires of danger and how to be more safe with fire, things you can do in your home and workplace to stay safe. We also, one of the big things we do is go to the schools. So this year, once again, our engine and ambulance crews were busy going to every elementary school and preschool in the Morongo Basin. And we touched and we talked to 2,300 local students about fire safety. Every year we do a focused, one topic that we really focus on in addition to everything that we talk about, stop, drop, and roll, call 911, smoke detectors. Every year we pick one topic, and this year it was planning and practicing your escape routes. So we talked to the kids and community groups about having an escape route in your home, having a plan to get out, a plan of where you go to when you get out of the house, We talked about the first step in an evacuation plan is to have a smoke alarm. Because those first couple minutes are critical when there's a fire in your house. So we talked to the kids about that. And then, so the smoke alarm's 2 ways out. So every sleeping area should have 2 ways out, doorway and a window. And then smoke alarms should be in every living area and every level of the home. So yeah, we talked to the kids about that. And then we also had a community disaster preparedness event in Yucca Valley on Saturday. So we had the fire engine, the ambulances, we had a helicopter there. We did an extrication demo where we showed people how we use the jaws of life and get people out of a car accident. We also had our seismic simulator trailer there. So if you ever get a chance to do that, you sit in basically like a mobile home, and it shakes like an earthquake. Gives you what it would feel like to be in a 7.8 earthquake. And you actually have to get strapped in because you get thrown out of this thing. And then we had a fire safety trailer there, which is basically a little house. We showed people how to get out of a house, how to stop, drop, and roll, crawl low to avoid the smoke, get out of a window, all those kinds of things. So we had a busy week spreading the fire safety message last week. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have something to do with providing smoke alarms?
We don't. Years ago, we had a grant where we could give away free smoke alarms,
Yeah.
but we don't have any left from that grant, and we don't currently have any.
What's your recommended replacement? Is it just the battery or the whole thing?
Yeah, whatever's on the manufacturer recommendation. So obviously the best smoke alarm is the kind that are hardwired into your house and then with a battery backup. But any smoke alarm is better than that. And again, we suggest that you put them in every sleeping area, every bedroom if you can, and then outside of the sleeping areas in the hallway, and then on every level of your house. And you can buy the battery powered ones pretty cheaply at any home improvement or big box store. Yes, sir.
Yeah, some of the new ones, at least the slightly more expensive new ones, believe it or not, have like a 5 to 10-year timer in them. The first time you activate them, they warn you when they're gonna stop working, and then they just stop.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, I hope that they alert you when
Yeah,
they
they have
stop
some,
working.
I haven't run across
Yeah,
it.
like,
They have some way that they're doing it, I'm sure.
Right.
because-
as
But,
a lot of people know, but just to kind of remind people, when you hear your smoke alarm beeping, that means the battery's low. So you'd be surprised how many homes we go into and the battery's beeping. And the smoke alarm
Oh, that makes me
beeping.
crazy.
And we ask them how long it's been going on, and they,
And I think it happens
eventually it
at
stops.
2 in the
and that's
morning.
the one that happens.
People don't know about cleaning them either.
Right, yeah. Anything else? Any other questions?
Chief, do you do home inspections? If someone says, hey, can you come out and take a walk through my house?
We don't do interior home inspections. We do exterior for wildfire safety. So we'll come look at your house and give you pointers on how you can make your house more fire safe. Defensible space, storage of your firewood, patio decking and stuff like that. But no, we don't go into interior. No. We don't really have any jurisdiction to come into anybody's home and tell them we can
Fix this.
Yeah, fix it, like we can businesses. We can go in and make sure that their housekeeping is correct, their aisleways are clear, and they're not using extension cords for permanent wiring, stuff like that, but not in a private house.
How about additional water tanks? Like when someone says, I want to put in another 2,500 gallon water tank, and does it fit up to your standards if there's a house fire?
Yeah, that goes through our prevention department. So if you have any questions with that, you can our prevention officer is here in this building, in the office right out front here, on Wednesday mornings every week. So, or you can call our office and we can give you his phone number for the rest of the week. Anything else?
Thank you.
All right.
one
Yes.
quick, fire season,
Yes,
when do you think we'll be able to have yard fires? or-
probably not until the first good rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so once we get our first good seasonal winter rain, we'll probably release the restriction on burn permits.
Okay.
As you saw last week, this is a busy time for fire season. The Santa Anas start blowing, and Southern California has our biggest and most devastating fires this time of year. So just because we're in the fall and it's cooling off doesn't mean we're out of the woods for fire season.
Did
Did you guys go help at Calamasa and all
Yes,
the other areas?
yeah, we had units in Calamasa, we had units in Redlands, there was a separate fire in Ritchie Canyon there. And then we also sent a strike team up to Northern California to the Bryceburg fire. So, yeah, we had units all over the state last week. And we had our own fires in our own county. We were able to manage and keep small.
Excellent.
Does the fire department have anything to do with putting pressure on the power company to upgrade its equipment so
No.
that it isn't 100 years old and doesn't cause you huge
No, we don't. I will say, from what I've seen personally, that the power companies are doing a good job of getting out there and fixing their infrastructure and improving it and taking proactive steps. I know it's inconvenient, it's a controversial topic, but to turn the power off so that when the winds blow, it doesn't start a wildfire. So some of that was legislated, and some of it is just them trying to be good stewards. So.
Okay, well.
Thank you. Morongo Valley Deputy Chief Brakebill.
Hi, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Jim Brakebill. I'm representing Morongo Valley tonight. Like County Fire, we've been super busy as well, so I'll start off. Although we don't have the call volume the county has, but we had, since our last meeting here, we've had 11 advanced life support calls, medical calls, 12 basic life support medical calls, 6 fires, 5 traffic collisions on Highway 62, one hazmat call, and 4 public assist, which is like help people get their car when they've locked their keys in it, or help somebody get up off the floor, for a total of 39 calls. We've had our brush team. We have a brush engine that's stationed up here. We became a state resource when the fires broke out, and so we've been responsible for the Yucca Valley Cal Fire Station. And so you'll see a Morongo engine will be up in Landers or anywhere where there's SRA land. If there's a fire on my way here, they got dispatched down the hill to a fire. So this call volume on the fires doesn't include that. Okay, I haven't got the totals on that, and they've been deployed now for about 12 days. And so we do have an event coming up at the public school. It's an elementary school. It's going to be an evacuation drill, and we're going to have the ambulance there and the fire truck, and they're going to simulate an earthquake, and we'll have injured students, and so that's coming up this coming Thursday. And October 31st, we're going to have the trunk or treat for the children, and last year was a huge success. I didn't realize we had that many kids in Morongo Valley, but and that lasted pretty much 3 or 4 hours. I mean, people came there and they just kept coming, and so I was really pleased. That was a really good event.
Where is it?
It's at Morongo Valley. It's right where our office is. It's open to the public, and the cars come. They line up down that street right there on both sides of the street, and they have a decoration contest, and it was very well attended last year. And that's about all I have to report. And if anybody has any questions, I have to tag on with what Chief Tuttle said. It's still no fires, no burning, and we're constantly out there getting calls of people burning because we have a rural area down in Morongo Valley. They just need to be reminded once in a while. You know, you can't be burning in the afternoon when it's windy. I do want to give special praise to the CHP. They've been working speed enforcement up and down Highway 62. We've had a 28% increase in accidents due to excessive speed over last year at this time. And so they've been really hitting that stretch of highway. And I had a chance to talk with one of the officers, and you know, he wasn't joking. He said, yeah, every ticket I have here is over 80 miles an hour. I mean, we kind of laugh jokingly, but it's serious. They fly up and down that street. And so some of the board members wanted me to say thank you to the CHP for doing that enforcement down there. And so please, you have to remember about the desert. We all have to respect the environment we operate and live in. And some of these people, most of them aren't local residents. They're people going back and forth from the river and don't have a clue how fast these desert highways and desert roads can take your car and flip it over if you accidentally run off onto the soft sand. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Okay.
Cal Fire, they're not here, I don't think.
Cal Fire's
No.
out.
CHP?
Yes.
Good evening, Officer Casey Simmons. I'm the Public Information Officer. I took over from Jason Cabali just recently, so I'm going to add a few more stats. I'm doing the stats of all of September, so I want to try to get you guys as much information as possible, and we've started now recently inputting all of our traffic tickets into a computerized system. It was in a separate system before, which is hard for us to access. Now we have user access to get those stats for you. So to start off, we had approximately 500 calls for service. Now dispatch in our area for 911 calls handles all cell phone calls in the county areas. So they can handle calls right at the top of Hess. That would include also calls that are trying to get down to Indio because of the San Bernardino-Riverside County line. They also get calls for sheriff calls, and they'll dispatch it to the sheriffs, or they'll dispatch it to the fire department and let them know the information. If there's a fire or something, they'll call 911, and they'll get our dispatch and then route it to the other dispatches. So that's 500 calls of service total for our dispatch for September in our area. We had a total of 20 DUI arrests for September. 4 of those were for drug-related, the rest were alcohol. 575 citations for infractions, so that includes your speeding, stop signs, cell phone, seat belts, all of that. 16 of those citations were for misdemeanors, meaning unlicensed drivers or suspended licenses, along with vehicles being impounded for that as well. Total of 39 traffic collisions for the area. 16 of them were on State Route 62. 3 were on State Route 247. And then we had, of those, there were 12 of them were minor injury, and there was 1 major injury, which was on State Route 247. Remember, this is all just for September. Keep in mind that we cover a wide range, just like the rest of the emergency services do. So we cover about 240 square miles, and typically we only have about 3 officers on during each period of time. So morning shifts, mid-shift, and then a sea watch or a graveyard shift. So we're trying to get out there as best as we can. We try to focus on the high volume areas, especially Morongo Valley, State Route 247, Joshua Tree are our biggest focus. And we try to hit out to Wonder Valley, especially on Amboy Road with people trying to go to Vegas or Parker, wherever they want to offer. For us, school bus reminder, remember, do not pass the flashing red lights on the school bus. We get several calls with that all the time. Officer just wrote a couple of those the other day, so we're making sure to focus on that area. I know some of you are familiar with Friendly Hills. Across the street from Friendly Hills, a bunch of signs that say no stopping means you cannot stop, period.
Right.
There's no parking, there's no stopping, you can't drop your kids off there. So make sure you get, if you have friends that have kids that go to there, make sure that they understand that they can't stop there, because we are citing people that stop and drop off their kids, because we don't want kids walking across the street. Plus you have several homes there and people were blocking their driveways, so they weren't able to get out. And I've talked to county roads, talking about putting an additional sign in that's closer to Alta Loma, because people are now butting up against the very first sign because they figure they can park right there to the corner. So we'll see if we're able to get an extra sign there, so then they can't park at all on that side until after the school zone. And then upcoming events, we have Tippecanoe actually this Thursday. It's for Special Olympics, so please, everybody come out if you can and join us. It's from, is it 5:30, 9 o'clock at night, and proceeds go to the Special Olympics.
Where, so when is this?
At Applebee's. So Applebee's on Thursday, and then the Sheriff's Department will be there as well, and they'll have us in uniform, and we'll just be serving food. No, we don't serve alcohol. Get alcohol,
no tip
but we
for
don't
you.
serve it. We'll serve the food and take orders like that. Okay. And with that, does anybody have any questions?
What time did he say it was?
5 to 9 you said, right? It was Tippecanoe?
Yes.
I was just wondering if you had noticed an increase in illegal U-turns in downtown Joshua Tree. It seems like lately, almost every day, I see somebody who's traveling westbound on the highway, and they'll have their signal on, like they're gonna turn south onto Sunset, and then instead of doing that, they do an illegal U-turn and end up going east past Crossroads. And for some reason or another, I just seem to see it all the time now, and I wondered if you had noticed that.
If I haven't noticed it, if there is a intersection there and there's no sign posted that says you can't do a U-turn, there's technically, it's the same thing as with the Morongo. If there's a left turn lane or a turn lane, you can make a U-turn, and that's what they were forcing people in Morongo Valley to do, is make U-turns because they blocked off their roads. So technically, no, they're allowed to do that, as long as they get within the furthest left lane, which was the left turn lane. If they do that, furthest left lane, they can legally make a U-turn there.
And I hope I didn't miss it. Do you have any crime stats, or is it even possible to capture just Amboy from 29 all the way out? Because it's turned into a major thoroughfare, and especially for fatalities.
That would be sheriffs, I think.
Amboy, so you're talking, so our jurisdiction would be from city limits of 29 Palms all the way to 5 miles shy of the National Trails Highway. So 5 miles shy of Amboy would be our area that we cover. So it would include the pass and all of that stuff.
Could we
so
get
I can try to get stats for that. And you want stats for
traffic enforcement.
Oh, I thought you said crimes, like stealing or something.
Traffic enforcement, especially specific. I know there was another fatality up there at the pass.
How recently was that one?
2 weeks ago, and only if you can, if it's gonna cause a bunch of number crunching.
Right.
No.
So it was about a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
So that might not have been our area, because we haven't taken this fatal until, unfortunately, was the off-road ones that we had, the double fatals. That was the last fatality we had, so we haven't had anything since, but
if you
I'll
can.
look into it. So,
thank you.
Is that sheep hole you're talking about?
I've had it in the last month or two, I've had a couple instances of fireworks going off in my neighborhood, and I'm assuming that it might be a Airbnb situation. But by the time I call 911, they're done. So I'm wondering if it's useful to call, just to document it's happening, or is there anything that can be done with that?
unfortunately, we would need to see where it's coming from, and then we would actually have to talk to the fire department about that. They enforce the fireworks laws when it comes to the fireworks.
I have a little experience with that. I live in an area where the Airbnbers think that nobody else is around. So, and their fireworks kind of do irritate me, and we have called the sheriffs, and the sheriffs have come out. What they did was the sheriffs came to our house first. My husband said, I don't know the address, but it's right up there, and there was obviously music and stuff going on. It was an Airbnb. So the sheriff took a ride up, talked to them, and actually the sheriff came back and said, yep, I talked to them, they're okay. And it was quiet there the next night,
That's
so.
great, but this is a residential area. I live
Yeah.
right in
exactly.
town in Joshua Tree.
Okay, so the sheriff are the ones that are going to be responding to the call?
Well, I just called
So
911, so.
Right, yeah, so they'll dispatch you to the sheriff's department, and then if you want someone to come out, definitely have them come out and suggest, maybe like she's saying, come to your house and you can point out
Yeah,
the direction.
possibly. See, I think it happened twice from the same place. I
Right.
need to go up there and,
If you can narrow down an address.
yeah, I'm gonna have to
That'd
go
be
up there and
perfect.
see if I can.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you keep any stats or have any stats on the traffic citations of out-of-towners versus locals? Because other rural areas I've lived in where I've been associated with the sheriff and CHP, the locals say, oh, it's the damn tourists and it's the damn out-of-towners, where, like Highway 27 through the Santa Monica Mountains, it's the local population who gets the vast majority of the citations.
Right, so obviously just coming off the road, I've been in the area for 10 years. I grew up in this area. I graduated out here. Lived in Joshua Tree since I was about 6 years old. So I definitely know the area very well. But when it comes to those, on the weekends, we see more of the tourists, as you would say, or the people going to Airbnbs, that type of stuff. We do see a spike with them traveling, especially on Fridays when they're coming in and Sundays when they're leaving. And that factors into the Morongo Valley, especially the Yucca Grade. During the week, it's still people traveling to and from work is the majority of it. A lot of them are just late for work, trying to get there. that type of stuff. Yes.
Do you ever issue tickets for people going too slow?
Yes, we have.
That's not common, I'm sure, but.
Well, we actually just had an officer that went to traffic court on it. He had 2 citations for a person traveling, 2 different people traveling in the number 1 lane, which is the fast lane, and not moving over to the slower lane, number 2 lane. The judge found the first one guilty. The other guy had the M-bars recording, which is our camera recording. So the judge wanted to review that recording first before he made a determination. But the first one was found guilty.
How much is too slow? If it's a 60 mile an hour,
So obviously the law states that if it's 65 miles per hour, that's the max speed, 65. But it does state that if you're the slower moving traffic on the roadway, that you are supposed to move over to the right-hand side.
right.
So I think he cited him for 64. One was at 61 miles per hour in a 65 zone.
But that was in the fast lane.
That was in the fast lane, yes.
God.
What's that, Matt?
Because they were at the speed limit.
The law doesn't specify the speed limit at which you're supposed to move to the right. It specifies if you're the slower moving one, you need to move to the right.
Yeah, I was
That's
thinking
just
about a
a-
situation on Lear, they were going 35, and the speed limit's 55, and that's 1 lane. So like on 62, you have options, but on Lear,
Right.
it's dangerous at that point.
I have not heard of anybody writing the citations for slow vehicle. Did they have flashers on? Was it
No.
just a regular vehicle, not like a big rig or military convoy or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
usually using their cell phone when that happens.
Wait,
Also, for clarification.
One more comment and then we'll move on. Go ahead.
Question, just for clarification, it is not a fast lane, it's a passing lane. So if
Right.
you're not passing anyone, you should not be in it.
That's right.
Right, so that's why we just number them, number 1 lane and number 2 lane, when it comes to collisions and stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Is there anyone here from Morongo Basin Haven to speak tonight? No, okay. So we will move on. Pardon?
We're going to the resolution.
Yes. The next thing on the agenda is the resolution MB-MACO20, revised for possible adoption, resolution proclaiming the Morongo Basin a need-free zone. And I'm going to have you present,
I need to
read
make a
it.
motion first.
You're supposed to present
No.
it first. We can't-
No, I'm not.
All right.
I move that we remove from the table motion, the resolution MAC020.
It was tabled, so he's removing it from the table.
That's probably.
It's removed from the table
Okay.
through the adoption of the agenda. It's already been
Yes.
agreed that we're going to discuss it. It's an
Agreed.
unnecessary motion, but if
It's
you
not,
want to
if
make
it's
it.
been tabled, actually. I'm
But
just
it's
trying to
on
stick
the
by
agenda.
rules.
Okay,
You know, still needs a second.
I second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay.
I have one more motion,
Yes.
just for proper procedure.
Yes.
I move that we accept the motion before us designated MAC020 as a friendly amendment to the original motion of last month. And that only requires that the mover and the seconder accept it as a friendly amendment.
But it's not really an amendment. We
It
have
is.
changed it.
We've changed it, that's an amendment.
Okay.
It just makes it simple, if we can do it. I made the motion originally last month, so I don't know who made the second. Does anybody remember who made the second?
The second to do what?
Put the resolution on the floor for
I believe
discussion.
Gail made the second,
I might have.
but it's in the minutes.
No, actually, it's not. I got lost there, Jim. I can't.
Okay.
Honestly. Well, what happens is, so you all know, is when he's recording, if you're all not real clear on what's going on, if I'm watching the video trying to take the minutes, I don't know what's going on. I just put in what I think. I'll be honest
So
with you.
can we accept
So
that
be
Gail
clear.
made the second?
I'm pretty sure Gail made the second.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Okay, is that okay, Gail?
Yes.
Okay. Then it's on the floor.
Okay. Would you, the
Yes, I'll
first
read
thing is, please read it.
So this is the resolution before us today. Whereas there is a continuing rise in hate crimes and domestic terrorism across the United States, and groups of innocent Americans are increasingly being the targets of assault, vandalism, and mass murder. And whereas the Morongo Basin has a multicultural and diverse population that work together to create one of the safest communities in the state and nation. And whereas we want to take proactive steps where and whenever possible to ensure the safety, security, and sanctity of all residences and businesses in our community, and to join the social movement happening across our great nation, which embraces and encourages empathy, respect, tolerance, understanding, and connection with one another. And whereas we want these important, loving values to be shown, taught, and passed on to all our children and future generations, therefore be it resolved that we proclaim the Morongo Basin a hate-free zone. We invite all residents of and visitors to the basin to behave respectfully and civilly in public places, and to reject social or civil injustice in all its forms. Bias, prejudice, bigotry, intolerance, bullying, and discrimination based on race, sexual identity, ethnicity, religion, class, gender, age, or disability should not be exercised.
Open for
Do I have a
discussion on the
second?
council.
Say that again?
Open for discussion on the council
No, we have to
first.
second it first. It has to be
That's-
seconded, and then we can discuss it. I think we should have the audience give us the people who want to speak should speak, and then the group can discuss it.
I will second.
But we
You
already
will second
voted,
it?
I will second.
Okay,
but we already voted otherwise at the beginning of the meeting.
okay. All right.
The council needs to discuss.
okay.
Then we hear from the community, and
And
then we vote.
Okay. So, who on the council would like to speak on this subject?
I would like
Anybody?
to speak on the subject.
Jim?
I don't have to go first, though, but I just want to.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Okay, so in the last meeting, I gave high praise to the people who brought the original resolution and stated that I don't disagree with any of that, and I don't know anybody that would. So people that are going to be opposed to the passing of this resolution aren't necessarily hate-filled or people that have hate in their heart. So I just want to establish that up front. I also defined the role and the purpose of the MAC. And I stated that there are two purposes, two roles. We provide a forum for people to come and share information, and then we advise the Board of Supervisors, and especially our supervisor who appointed us, Don Rao. And that seemed to not a very popular position to take. So what I did was I went onto the county website under the clerk of the board, and I read the actual purpose and role of this particular MAC. You can go on the clerk of the board's website, you can pull up Morongo Basin MAC, and it's very short, I can do this really quickly. Under purpose, there's only 2 paragraphs. The purpose of the MAC is to hold public meetings pursuant to the Belfin-Brown Act in their communities for the purpose of receiving information from residents, businesses, and community groups, and to disseminate information to the community about services and resources relative to the county of San Bernardino. That's exactly what I said in the last meeting. The MACs will also facilitate the identification of issues within the communities and work with the 3rd District Supervisor's Office to establish priorities and recommend community-based solutions. Then it goes on to define the duties. The MAC shall advise the Board of Supervisors on all matters specifically referred to it by the Board of Supervisors as authorized by Government Code Section 31010. That's it. So we are an advisory body. As I stated in the last meeting, again, this is out of the scope of an advisory body. Now, if this was under the consideration of the Board of Supervisors, then the MAC could then present advice to the Board of Supervisors based on community feedback. But right now, this body, I contend, under this definition, and what I've always understood as a MAC, does not have the authority, we're not authorized by the Board of Supervisors, to enact a policy that says that we are proclaiming the Morongo Basin a hate-free zone. I would strongly urge this council not to approve this based on the way it's written, go back to the drawing board and consider bringing this under advisement to our supervisor, Don Rao, and for consideration for the Board of Supervisors as a whole. But this body, based on what I just said, our purpose and our role, we're not authorized to do something like this. So I'm going to vote no on this resolution.
Are there any other board members that have?
You know, I read the exact same section and reread it, read it, and I agree with you 100%. And I'm gonna have to agree with Jim that I would vote against it, just because our purpose here, I would much rather send it to the county board, say, hey, let's look at Amboy Road, where people are dying routinely, and people are crashing, and maybe you study that as being adopted by the state. I agree with everything you said. I come from a long line, my whole life has been in public service. I don't wanna see anybody get hurt, I don't wanna see anybody out there be a victim of any of these things, but I just don't see this as our role.
Tom?
Okay. And I agree with both of you that our role is as an advisory board. We don't make public policy. But I also don't see this resolution as making public policy. I think we're expressing the sentiment of the community, and by our vote, that is also would be representing our areas, that we are advising the supervisor that this is what we believe in, and what we're advising her to also bring forth among the supervisors. I see this not as us establishing policy, because we are not a body that has that legitimate role. But our role, and we have made over 25 resolutions that in the past 5 years that advise the supervisor, and this is just another one from my perspective, having been here a little while, and that what we're doing is really just using this as an advisory tool, because you're absolutely right, we cannot make policy.
I can see both arguments, and I think I kind of fall on the side of this really isn't a public policy, but rather a statement of values. It's, to me, if you say something's a policy, it's here's how we're going to do things, we shall do this, we will do this, it has some procedure to it, but this, I think, falls more on the side of just a statement of values, so I think that's kind of where I stand on this.
Any other board members want to speak on this?
Can I respond briefly to something that was said?
Sure.
Okay. It actually is more than just a statement of values, though, because we actually hosted the presenters for the original proclamation, the original resolution at the HVCC meeting last month. The room was overwhelming. I mean, there wasn't one person in the room that thought this was a good idea, especially after they stated that their purpose is to have a sign up when you come into Yucca Valley, and it's going to have the promoters, I believe, are the Democrat Club of Morongo Valley, or Morongo Basin. That's going to be a big logo on the sign, and then there's going to be logos from every other organization that supports it. So, and furthermore, one of the delegates asked them, after they stated in their presentation that this is the first step, asked them, what's the second step? And I don't know if they knew or if they didn't want to say, but they didn't answer the question. So there are more steps involved in this than just this position to have a sign up.
Hold on a minute. Right now, all we will be voting on is this resolution. Whether there's another group has something further they want to do, that is not what we're voting. That's not what we will be voting on. We will be voting on this. And I agree with the comment that as a community and as people who represent the different communities in the Morongo Basin, it's an important step to say that you are opposed to bigotry and to hatefulness, and there really isn't anything I don't see in this that's bad. It's all a positive message that we're trying to say this board and the people and many of the people that we serve feel that this is an important step for bringing more people together in the community and being more inclusive.
I think
So,
people are opposed, Gil, because they fear that they're being labeled as haters, even though they're not. I
but
think
that's
that's
in
the
their
fear.
own, nobody's saying they're haters, that's in their own mind, and that's not, we're not voting to call people haters. We're just saying that this is going to be a hate-free zone. So let's hear what some of the people from the audience have to say. Do any of the
I
other
agree,
board
I'd like
members?
to hear what,
Yes.
you know, what the members, you know, the people here would like to say,
Yeah.
because I think
Yeah.
it is an advisory statement. It isn't, you know, exclusive in my mind. So I would like to hear what people have to say.
I agree. I'm reserving opinion because I'm not sure what everybody thinks. So may I start?
Yes, absolutely.
Susan Lefevre?
Thank you, Jim, for clarifying. I want to just agree with you. There's nothing in this that isn't heartfelt and positive.
They're going to have to face
However, I'm going to say, have each of you queried your communities?
Just, can you face the camera so that
Oh, I'm
they can
sorry.
pick up your voice?
Yeah,
and
my
stuff?
name is Susan Lefevre. I'm from Morongo Valley. I just want to say, at the Morongo Valley CSD meeting, we discussed it, and the community overwhelmingly rejected this proposal, this resolution. It was in the newspaper, so it was tabled. Okay, Morongo Valley does not want this. So I would suggest you each reach out to your communities if you haven't done so. You're an advisory council representing your community. Please reach out to your community and find out what they want. Doesn't matter what the reason is. The language is wonderful. We all want to be hate-free. I support that wholeheartedly. I don't want a sign going up in the.
We're not talking about a sign. We're only talking about this
I know,
resolution.
I understand, it's my turn to speak. I am against the resolution, and I am for each of you reaching out to your community and supporting what your community wants, not what you want as personal
Okay.
individuals.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next is Ruben, excuse me?
Could you slide that down to cool? Right behind you, see the thermostat? Is it on warm?
Yeah.
Everybody heat it up here now?
Now that was the plan, Mark, that's the plan.
Get out of here faster.
Ruben Tisdale Brown? Oh, I'm sorry, Robert Tisdale Braun. Your turn. Please come up.
And face the camera.
The reason I'm here is because of a personal experience concerning this. This happened about 2.5 months ago in Walmart. There was this gentleman with his father who happened to be on crutches. They were looking at some videos, and these two Hispanic women were in front of me and went to go around him, and I'm not being racist, a white woman and her older son, they were like 3/4 of the way around the guy, getting ready to pull in. She grabbed the front of the cart, pushed them back into a display, and said, "This is America only for white people. You brown people don't belong here, so you need to leave." They walked on. I walked up, the girls were probably in their late 20s, early 30s. They were upset. I walked up, I said, "You know what? I'm really sorry that someone of my race did that to you. I got attacked for being un-American. That's the reason we need to have a hate-free zone here. It has nothing to do with this over here. It's the fact that we all need to be together just to say, hey, we won't tolerate the hate. No one's rights are being taken away from anybody. This is not a my rights, your rights issue. It's hate. It's hate in America. I have a personal issue with it for being gay. I experience it all the time. I will have people walking down the supermarket that know me, that don't like me, will go down to another part of the area to avoid me. That's hate. When you can't accept somebody the way you are, then there's a problem. But that's the reason I'm here, is because I experienced that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Glenn Harris?
Okay, hi. As I stated last month, we discussed the language of the particular resolution, and we offered to help change it. So we did, Rainier and I and Thomas. And this new draft, there is no fear-mongering, there is no hate-mongering, there is calling no one a bad person. It's all about standard, high morality, and Judeo-Christian values. Now, it says right on the Santa Barbara County stationery.
San Bernardino or Santa Barbara?
Did I say Santa Barbara? Our county. It says right on the stationery, we are here to create a county in which all who reside and invest can prosper and achieve well-being. It's right there on our stationery. It's hard to achieve well-being when you are being victimized, assaulted, made fun of, castigated, outcast, vilified, whatever you want to call it. And like the last speaker, I too have been victimized a lot in this community which I adore. And it's not about that it doesn't happen, someone said, it's about the level. Well, in my consideration, any level is not appropriate and should not be tolerated. And like the board has said, this is not proclaiming anything, this is not changing laws, this is not about making laws. It is just a statement of Judeo-Christian values that we all admittedly try to live by. Mark 12:31, Matthew 22:39. Love thy neighbor as thyself. People who go around making fun of the gay population or castigating the old people or discriminating against others who are not American white blue-eyed like I am. That's not loving your neighbor as thyself. We all live here, we're all speaking a lot of speak about, let's love each other, my heart isn't filled with hate. So I don't see any reason why we can't just make a statement of value. And I just want to say that law, government, whatever you want to call it, is a positive force for positive social change in our community. So let's be a positive force for our community and go from there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paula Durant, did I say that right? Durant or Durant?
Durant.
Durant, Paula Durant, sorry about that.
I'd like to speak to Jim's suggestion that we have an agenda beyond what's in front of you or what we brought last month. There is no secret plan. Anything we have to offer has been offered. If the idea of the sign was a part of the tone that we'd like to set in the Morongo Basin, where everyone can feel at ease in Walmart or at church or at school. Again, I think I repeat myself. I have an 11-year-old helper who comes to do things that I can't do. And she speaks of the concern she has that somebody's coming into her school and that there's hate and they're learning about not bullying in school. And I see this in the same context of we agree to be a civil society. We don't have to agree about anything other than we agree to live civilly together. There's no hidden agenda, no plan down the road that we're going to bring out later. It's a statement about who we are as a community. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. I don't think I used up all my time.
Nope. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon Dove, or is that a V or a Dun?
Dove.
Dove, gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, I live in Morongo Valley, and I know a lot about victimization, even though I'm white and I'm a female. Experienced it in my own community. Today I did. Somebody punched my car. So I understand how that works. My concern about the resolution is, let's dig down and get to the hard stuff. Let's actually identify the problems and come up with community-based solutions. This resolution is not going to help me, it's not going to help you, it's not going to help you in Walmart, it's not going to help anybody. And that's my problem. I want it as a forum. Why don't you be useful and effective and constructive and dig down and get into the complex problems that exist in this community? They're building, people are hurting, people are threatened, it's happening to our kids. Why don't we, as a community-based forum, and that's all you are, identify those problems and get to work on them. Bring in the community and solve this stuff. This is useless, it's offensive, and it makes me angry. It's not going to help me. I live by myself out in the booms. This isn't going to do anything for me. So I want to see us come up with some solutions. That's what I want to see. Do the tough stuff. These are tough problems, and you all have something to say about it. Get in there and do something about it with each other. That's what I want to see. Otherwise, you're just whitewashing it. It's a false sense of security, and you're not helping anybody. Nobody is being helped by this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Marilee McIntyre? McIntyre? Thank you.
I'm sorry I don't have much of a voice. I got the bug that's going around. I own Boo's Organic Oven. I just am here to tell you about the incidents that have been happening at the bakery. There's been 3 incidents of my... Yes, there's been 3 racial incidents at my bakery due to people, customers, locals coming in and calling my people of color, brown, black, whatever, names. One was called one was just called Brown. And then the next time, he just shook his head when he saw her again. Another female employee, young employee, was called a wetback. And then we just had a woman screaming in the bakery because we put up a no racism zone sign to keep it out. I don't want to serve people with hate in their heart. We bake with love. And we want to supply the community with really good baked goods baked with love. And we had a woman screaming at the top of her lungs and being very irrational to take down our racism sign. So even though I'm a white privileged person who I don't have to get screamed at, my employees are getting screamed at. Whether this resolution does any good or not, I don't know, but we do have a problem out here. When people say, well, I've never seen it, I don't mean to be rude or presumptuous, but maybe you've never seen it because you're not gay, or you're not African American, or you're not Latina. It's out there. It's out there. And I don't know what's going to solve it, but we need to know what's going on out there. And I've only been open since 4th of July, and we've had 3 incidents. So that's what I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you
and
for coming.
it might escalate. I mean, I'm actually afraid now because I don't know what's going to happen next. Will I get a brick through the front window because I support multiracial community? I don't know. You know, that's what I worry about at night, and I fear for them because they're having to deal with it. So, I just wanted to inform you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And finally, Miriam Seeger?
Oh, I just wanted to add to what Marilee said, because, as you know, I own the building that Marilee is in, and I thought that if this resolution, I support the resolution, because I never expect a resolution to do anything. Like, having worked with civic politics, it is an aspirational statement, and it is just like a guide or a mantra, but we don't ever expect resolutions to be functional. They're the baby step that we move upwards from. So I do support this as a first step and an important baby step. In Marilee's situation, to take that one step further, I did encourage her to go to law enforcement and just say that I think it's very important that there's a mechanism for recording of these repeated incidences. She was told that they weren't report worthy by the sheriff's department because no actual crime had been committed, and that people were just, exercising their expression of free speech and, no injury or damage, which is true enough. But then again, with the frequency that these things have been happening to her, there should be a mechanism within law enforcement where it can be noted that this is happening. Where the separate incidences that people are talking about can be noted. Because how often do we look at some major tragedy in retrospect and see that there was a pattern? And always say, like, why didn't anyone flag it? Why didn't anyone bring up their activity on social media or this group or this whatever? And then a huge price is paid. So it would be really nice if, I know the sheriff's not here today and you're standing in, but it would be really nice to see this resolution passed and then to go a little further in having a mechanism where it can actually protect people. Because I know Marilee's people are, genuinely afraid, as they should be. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't take vote.
Is that, anyone else?
No, a vote. Oh,
Was there?
I don't have any others.
Okay.
I didn't know, those are for the public speaking time at the end of the meeting.
No, we had these, so
Those.
to clarify, yeah, we have not gotten
I
to,
didn't fill out one. I wanted to
we have
speak
not
to the
gotten-
resolution.
all right, let's go. Go.
I'm Jane Charlesburg, I live in Joshua Tree. The world is full of all kinds of stuff going on, and we're just trying to deal with it in a humane way here. I basically do agree with the resolution, but I want to remind everybody, it's just a reminder for people passing a sign or talking to your neighbor or whatever, that to be kind to your neighbor. It's just a reminder, and it's not going to result in too much change if somebody really has hate in their heart. So, more power to you, but it, like she said, it's the beginning, not the end by any means.
Okay. There's one hand up there in the back, and I can't see who it is.
Beverly, yeah.
Oh, Beverly.
Yeah, my name is Beverly.
Come out and face the camera.
I'm from Landers, and all I want to say is I support this resolution. I haven't had anything personally happen to me or myself or my son, but my husband and I have seen from a distance, standing next to people that have made very unkind statements about people of color. So it is out there, it really is. As much as we'd like to say that it isn't, it's there. And I don't see a thing wrong with making a statement. In fact, I think that it would rise the Morongo Basin up, maybe make us a little bit better than some of the other communities in San Bernardino County. So I hope it
Beverly
passes.
from Landers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else that the board wants to talk about on this? So,
Yeah, I find this difficult. I don't think this is, as Jim has said, I don't think this is something that I feel the MAC should be trying to legislate, as it were. As I believe I said last week, hate is something that's within a person's heart. And passing this resolution, of course I completely agree with everything. Who wouldn't agree with these things? But I don't think this is the forum and the organization in which something like that should be passed.
So who do you think should pass something like this in the Morongo Basin? We're here all from each unincorporated community, okay? We all see things happening in our community. what is wrong, I cannot imagine what the problem is with putting out a statement of this nature to everyone in the community so that people know that at least the people who are representing people in the community want this to be a hate-free zone where people are welcome and things are changing here and there are a lot of different people coming in. And I think this is a perfect forum to do it because we're representing all the unincorporated areas. We're not a city where we have the authority of a city, but we do have some moral regard on this subject. And I just don't see any reason why this has been such a huge problem for some people.
And Gail, with the utmost respect for you,
I know.
It just, reading verbatim from the mission, you know, we're talking about what is our role, I don't see it taking verbatim from our handbook. I agree with everything that's been said in this room, everything you've said. I just don't see it as within our purview.
And I have a point of query.
Yes?
Mark, sorry, I want to put you on the spot.
Put him on the spot.
From your, as the field representative for our county supervisor, and as former chair of this committee, have you, are we doing something actually that's different than we've done in the past? And are we doing something that you think is in violation of our mandate?
Well, it's a tough one, Tom. This particular resolution is probably different than most of the resolutions that have been passed. Most of them have a mechanical component to it, whether it be taxes or whatever. But yes, these go to our supervisor, and there is some case law saying that they will go to all 5 of the supervisors, and they will see this. Now, whether they decide that it's inappropriate or not, I can't tell you. But you are raising an issue, and if the supervisors don't know about it, they probably can't do anything about it. So strictly up to the board.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're raising the issue. We're bringing, look at all the people that have come out and spoken either for or against it. We're raising the issue, we're putting it on the table, and I think that's a good thing.
So
Anybody else? Oh,
I see that there's kind of 2 steps to this. There's whether we can pass it, and then if we can, whether we should. And I think that it's, I mean, I personally, as I said before, I feel like it's within our purview, and is something that we can do. What concerns me is the number of people who have stood up and said, what's this really going to do? Like, if it's not going to change anything, if somebody who's a hater is going to be a hater, then why are we passing resolutions just for the sake of passing resolutions? I don't necessarily know that that's a good idea. So that's kind of goes to, you know, the idea of whether we should pass it.
Let's just call it vote.
Resolutions never do anything.
Let's just call it vote.
But it does, if it does help people feel more safe in their community, that others are.
Everybody else is
no,
talking.
stop. We had an order. You all got to speak. I want to hear from one of the other board members.
So I would say that one of the best things that's happened about this so far is that it is being talked about. So if we don't bring this up, we're the only body that actually can bring this up. There is no other. If the Board of Supervisors ends up thinking it's inappropriate, well, they can say so.
Right.
But if we don't bring it up, then there is no discussion. And it obviously, from what people have said, there needs to be discussion. We also have no way to say if something is going to change someone or not. It actually might. It actually, by talking about it, might get someone to think that maybe their behavior is not appropriate and that they're not looked on with favor by others. It brings the subject up.
Or conversely,
this-
it might make someone feel safer if they
That's
feel
right.
like we've
That's
got
right.
their back.
Can
Even if
I
it's just a
speak to an
visualization.
experience? When I was in Ocean Beach, and I was pastor at the United Methodist Church in Point Loma, of Point Loma, and in the community, they developed a sign at one of the local head shops called the Black, And it was a relief of a hobo with a stick on his back, and it said, "Welcome to OB, please don't feed our bums." And it caused a lot of consternation in the community. So I got other leaders in the community together, and we had a town hall meeting, and where we sat together with through conflict resolution and restorative justice communities assistance, and we just had a forum where we talked about stuff. And about what we wanted in our community, what our values were. We talked about what our values were in the community, and then language changed, and some people changed. All we did was really present a place where people could actually talk about their values, and in some way we're doing a small piece of that. We're talking about our values, and then it gives other people the opportunity to live into those values. We had a great change in the community there. Whenever someone started calling the homeless trolls, which was one of the things that were called them, they would, and if I was at a meeting, they turn around and say sorry. They changed their thing. They just understood that this was moving beyond civility. And then there was a cleanup in the area, and a lot of the homeless went with people who were housed through the community and helped clean up the streets, just as little movements forward. And it has changed that community in a lot of ways. And it was just because we talked about our values.
I would like to call the question now. We have the resolution number MB-MACO20. We've had a second. All those in favor? Do you think we should take a, yes?
Roll call vote.
Would you go ahead and call the?
Yeah. I'm going to go in order.
Okay.
Jim Harvey.
No.
Pat Flanagan.
Yes.
Ellen Jackman.
Yes.
Michelle.
Yes.
Mary Helen. No. Gail.
Yes.
There you are. Tom.
Yes.
Steve.
No.
No, wrong Steve.
Sorry, you gotta clarify.
Well, you already got an answer.
Well, we're in order.
Mr. Bardwell.
This is a rough one. I will say yes.
Mr. Reyes.
No.
Okay, so there are 3 noes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 yeas, 3 nays. The yeas have it. It passes.
And we will be sending this on to the Board of Supervisor Rao. Am I pronouncing that right? Rao?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Rao. Thank you all for your comments
Okay,
and
let's
for
move on.
participating in this. It's really been important. Next,
Is there a chairman's report?
I have nothing to report.
Okay, let's go to reports by members of the MAC.
Okay. Jim, do you have something to report?
No, just the Oktoberfest was extremely successful. The organization raised almost $4,000. So thanks to everybody who participated, and we'll see everybody next year.
Great.
Thanks again.
So I would like to bring to your attention that right now we finished what everybody seems to be interested in, so everyone's leaving. So there are still our comments to be made, and there's still public comments to be made. We're all volunteers here. You're here of your own free will. You guys want to be heard? We want to be heard. We're here to represent our communities. And we've basically heard you, and we want you to know what's going on with us. So if you do need to leave, please do so quietly. Don't be rude. I'll call you out. Thank you.
Was the presentation tabled?
No, it's going to be at the end of the meeting, so we're trying to go through it.
Pat, do you have anything to report?
No, I have nothing to report. Thank you.
Ellen?
I just want to thank everybody for the discussion and the comments on the resolution. I think it was a really good discussion. And then I just want to say be careful out there. It's kind of crazy because we have the studio art tours going on, and Park Boulevard resurfacing, which thankfully is almost done. But there's a lot of people out in Joshua Tree right now, so everybody be careful.
Thank you. Michelle?
Yeah, and again, I'm proud of my community to have this discussion and to be able to do it. And, you know, like, to help, if we've made an error in helping visualize a hate-free zone and a place where we can all feel safe, then we'll get told by our supervisors. So I'm proud of everybody for being part of the discussion.
Here, here.
Ditto.
We had a really great weekend last weekend in Landers out of Giant Rock. It was the annual Giant Rock cleanup that was organized by Carol Newman and Blight Sites, along with the historical, the High Desert Nature Museum. You know, it gets really trashed out there with graffiti and garbage, and, you know, these people are volunteers, and mostly from Landers, part of the Landers Community Association, go out there to keep that clean and an important site for us. And always I'm asked to remind you that the Landers Thrift Store is open on Friday and Saturdays, 10 to 3, and that we do a USDA food giveaway on the third Mondays at 8:30. You just need proof of residency. That could be a bill or anything. And the center also, the Landers Association, does yoga for anybody every Monday. So hopefully if you are from Landers, and I appreciate the people from Landers who've spoken up today, come on by the association and get involved.
Thank you.
So I'm Mary Helen Tuttle from Copper Mountain Mesa. We've had just a little change. Our volunteer extraordinaire cook, he does a whole bunch of stuff out there, has been down and out with some pain, and I'm directing him to the health care. However, so we had to make some changes. We all had to fill in. So we're not having game night on Monday, and we're not having barbecue Fridays. What we are having is supper at the center on Friday nights. And there are some of us who do like to cook, and we are going to have dinners, something on Friday night, something right around $5 or so, and it's going to be homemade. I'm on first this Friday night. I'm going to do pulled pork and cheddar biscuits and a salad. If you're keto, you got salad. If you're not, you got pulled pork. I put lots of sauce on it. Thank you. Sauce.
Okay,
It's a saucy thing.
I just have for Tom Ziegert, Yucca Mesa, and I just have two things. One is our Mesa Fest went over real well, and we are real proud to be able to do that as an annual event. And I also want to say also with everyone else that I appreciate particularly those who have worked on the resolution, and I want to say that carrying out loud is a matter of faith, love, and hope. And I think that we, using my language, we are blessed that we have a place and live in a place where we can actually care out loud. And I appreciate that from all of us. We care about our responsibilities, our limitations, and our community. And no matter how we voted on the way we understood this resolution, it does voice a personal integrity from each person that's in this room tonight. And I really appreciate that you have cared with us out loud tonight.
Thank you, Tom.
Steve Bardwell?
Yes, Steve Bardwell from Pioneer Town. I wanted to just point out that this month, we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of the signing of the California Desert Protection Act in 1994. And as part of the celebration, there was a resolution that was passed unanimously by the Board of Supervisors, and I'd like to read that here. Whereas California Protection Act was first signed in 1994, which created the Mojave National Preserve, Joshua Tree National Park, and Death Valley National Park, as well as many others. And whereas the California Protection Act catalyzed efforts to protect natural areas and military installations through subsequent legislative and administrative efforts and created a sustainable tourist economy. And whereas California Desert Protection Act safeguards precious groundwater and their watersheds to support the desert residents, military missions, and fragile desert ecosystems. And whereas the California Desert Protection Act protects the California desert, which provide recreational resources for a wide spectrum of collaborative participants, solitude for those who wish to enjoy the undisturbed vistas and clear night skies. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the County of San Bernardino, State of California, does hereby recognize California Desert Protection Act for 25 years of protecting California's rich desert landscape. This was our supervisor was the spark plug that got that to happen, so congratulations to her. And please visit desertlands.org and you'll find a listing of many events that are happening throughout the California desert, some of which are pretty all over the desert, all the counties that are involved in the Desert Protection Act. So check it out. desertlands.org/land/25 years will get you there. And one other brief announcement here. There is on November 2nd, there is going to be a workshop at the Yucca Valley Community Center that is being sponsored by the California Desert Coalition and also supported by MDLT, MBCA, and the National Parks Conservation Association. It's free of charge. It will teach you how to write substantive comments addressing CEQA, any CEQA challenges to projects. So
What is that date again?
CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act.
The date again?
November 2nd, from 9:30 to 3:30. There'll be some snacks too, so.
Oh, free food?
And that's at
That
the
needs
Yucca
a
Valley
sign up,
Community.
if you're going. Then it needs to, you have this sign up there, Claudius, that says Saul Wildlands.
I'll leave this up here, saulwildlands@gmail.com, SALL wildlands@gmail.com.
Thank you. Steve Ritz.
Just like to thank Mark Lundquist. Ms. Rowell came out to a community meeting a week ago. We had representatives from different county entities, went over really, really well. Again, thanks to Mark and Ms. Rowell. Please check wondervalley.org. There's 2 different food distributions. Teresa does a wonderful job in posting them, and I volunteer at them, so I strongly suggest that people take advantage of that. So that's it.
I wanted to say this while everyone was here, but I didn't get a chance to. We're going to be, because of how the holidays come out, in November, our meeting night is Labor Day. So
No, it's not.
What is it? Veterans Day, sorry about that. Veterans Day, so we're not going to have a meeting that night because we would run into maybe the same problem we had tonight. So we're going to be dark in November, but we will have a meeting in December. We're usually dark in December.
Oh, we are?
Yes, we are. Going to have a meeting. I mean,
Was there a vote and I missed it?
it was decided without you. No, I mean, we missed
imagine?
this summer, and we missed an extra meeting, so let's have a meeting in December, the second Monday, and we'll make it a meeting and a party.
Well, I know you're gonna be heartbroken, I probably won't be here.
You don't get any presents anyway, you're always there.
Somebody else is gonna do them minutes, because when I'm not here, these minutes are of,
We'll find somebody to
Yeah.
do it.
And what would that take, December what?
Say that again?
December what?
Second Monday in December,
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Oh, you guys. Okay, got anything else?
The 9th, yeah.
Saying anything else?
December 9th, so we will not be meeting next month. Now we have other people who want to speak.
Were you going to talk any more about?
Nope.
That's it? Okay. Now it's time for public comment.
Okay. I've talked enough.
Okay. Call for public comment. At this time, anyone may comment on items not on the agenda that are of interest to the public and within the jurisdiction of the MAC. The MAC is prohibited by law from taking action on matters not on the agenda. Comment may be offered on items on the agenda when those items come up for discussion or action. A limit of 3 comments per item and 3 minutes per comment may be imposed. In all cases, if you wish to speak, please submit a registration card to the secretary and proceed to the podium when recognized by the chair. Speakers should address the MAC as a whole. Comments to individual delegates and/or staff are not appropriate for this venue. And we'll start with
Dominic? Hi, Dominic.
Good evening.
How do you pronounce your last name? Hayden.
Good evening. I wanted to introduce myself to those of you who I haven't met already. My name is Dominic Hayden. I work for our state senator, Shannon Grove. And a few months ago, our representative for San Bernardino County decided to retire from his part-time work out here in Yucca Valley. So the senator had another opportunity to close the office and I guess save money. But that wasn't her heart, that wasn't what she wanted to do, so she decided to expand the office. And instead of being a part-time position, she made it a full-time position for our San Bernardino County residents. I was hired on to come down here. I moved in March to Yucca Valley and am now a full-time registered voter here, ready to serve and support my community. So I'm happy to work with anybody who has problems with state issues, state legislation. We can help work with the DMV, Franchise Tax Board, all sorts of different things. We can help coordinate, and if we can't do it, we'll direct you to who can. We would like to be an active presence and be able to help as we can. So I'm available to you, and I can give you my cards afterward.
Great.
Dominic, where's your office?
It's attached to Bob Dunn's State Farm Building.
I saw that.
On Joshua Lane.
Yep.
Thank you.
Cool, let's
Thank
run
you.
a bill.
There you go. Uh-oh.
We got that Bobcat bill
Jane.
pretty fast.
This is my public comment.
Okay.
I'm Jane Jarlsberg, live in Joshua Tree. First of all, I want to request that public comments come first in the meeting. I think it would be logical. It has happened before. I don't know why you switch it to the end. We may be able to bring up topics at the beginning of the meeting that you want to include in your ideas for future agendas. And also, we'd like to have the full audience to hear what we're saying. So, anyway, that's my ideas. And then, as you know, Park is being repaired. We're moving right along, but my street, Sunset Road, south of the highway, is being used as a detour. And I want to remind you, it's 40 miles per hour, not 50, 60, 70, whatever. The other thing is, I wanted to thank whoever helped in this. I recommended a couple of places that the Planning Commission meeting that was held on the 3rd of October be video conferenced here, and they did manage to bring it here, and I appreciate that, and a lot of us showed up to speak to that. So I'm hoping that there will be follow-up on that, because anyway, we need to talk to these people who have been approved for this project. The other thing is, I would recommend that after this resolution goes to the county, and if they decide that is a good resolution, we have a town hall first, and then get going on this.
Thank you.
I didn't mean to throw that at you.
No, she didn't speak.
She left.
Sharon, she left.
Okay.
Calvin? Hi, Calvin.
Hi there. Calvin Knight, Joshua Tree resident. We're organizing a community gathering for Panorama Heights and White Feather, which I guess is the hospital district referred to as. Early November, we're kind of replicating the Monument Manor folks, trying to figure out how to form a neighborhood association of some sort, piggybacking on the neighborhood watch program and other things that are going on in that neighborhood specifically. So it's being hosted at Harrison House from 3 to 5 on the afternoon of Sunday, November 3rd. Sort of a potluck. We're sending out communication. We're asking people to RSVP. It'll be kind of this information shared on how to live near the park. Most of us in that neighborhood are very close to the park boundary. So tips on that and some other ideas for how to work more intentionally as a community and also informally as a community. So if you're interested and you live in that area, please join us on November 3rd.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. That's it. Now call Joe Rudin. Joe Rudden. Joe Rudden.
Joe Rudden? Oh, hi.
Yeah, it's time for our presentation.
Did you think we'd forgotten you? Thank you so much for
No, I heard your feet
sticking around
tapping.
for this.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Rudden with Morongo Basin Healthcare District. I'm here this evening to give you an update on transportation. You may know that transportation is a pretty major issue in the Morongo Basin. People do not have access to transportation to a medical appointment, not only down the hill, but even just around the area. So it's a major issue. 3.6 million people last year in America missed a medical appointment because they did not have transportation. So it really is a big issue. The Morongo Basin Healthcare District Board responded in 2017 by convening the first of its kind, to my knowledge, Community Health Needs Assessment. And one of the things, not surprising to many, but surprising to some, is, again, transportation. People move up here because it's affordable, and they get stuck. They lose their car. They get to where they can't drive any longer. Their neighbor moves away. So it becomes an issue. So two things the healthcare district is doing to respond. One is we do provide the Lyft transportation service, which provides free transportation around the Morongo Basin to medical appointments. Not only do we go to our 2 clinics in Yucca Valley and 29 Palms, but we'll take people anywhere they need to go for a medical appointment. And that's up to, I think, around 60 facilities, believe it or not, centers and the like. So we're really, really busy. We have probably about a week, sometimes 2-week lead time, but we do our very best to get folks where they need to be. We are starting to expand to go down the hill. We know there's a huge need for that. So we are going 3 times a month to start to Loma Linda and then on to Arrowhead. And then on another day each month, we will go down to Desert and East Valley to appointments. So we are trying to respond. The other thing we're doing with our Lyft transportation program is we're working with Reach Out Morongo Basin. As you know, a lot of their service, they provide a lot of services, one of which is transportation. So we're looking at ways to kind of work together to streamline what days do they go down the hill, how can we work together to share resources. We actually, Robin and I applied jointly for the Transportation 5310 grant, which is mobility for seniors. So I think it's the first time I've heard of anything like this, where 2 agencies came together to collaborate around and respond to the need in our community to expand not only trips down the hill, but just more program expansion in the Morongo Basin, because both of our programs are at capacity. That's our reality.
Do you have an age, Robin's program is for seniors. Is your program, does it have an age qualification?
No.
Is that the word?
No, it's, anyone who's seeking a medical appointment, anyone who needs medical care.
It's like a mother with a kid or something?
Is considered
Really?
disabled, believe it or not. By the
Okay.
ADA, that's part of the definition. So we will respond to anybody who needs and is seeking medical care.
Oh, wow.
Now, obviously, someone under 18 needs to be with a parent or guardian, but her program does cater to seniors, but I think she also does take folks from different ages. So the good thing is we're starting to call each other, which is great. Hey, we're going to be going down the hill, because we don't want to go down the hill with only one person if we can get those vehicles full. Yes, ma'am.
Do you go on dirt roads?
We do, and thank you for that segue. The difference between and why we partner with the MBTA is they are obviously, they're a segment ride where it's a fixed route. We will go off the beaten path, and we go door to door and door through door. A lot of people need assistance getting into their wheelchair and then getting onto the vehicle. And they can't do that. That's not why they're in place. So we will go to a lot of our folks in Wonder Valley, for instance. We go out there at least once a week. And some of these folks are 10 miles off the dirt road, and we'll take them and pick them up and get them into the vehicle. So, and we also do take wheelchairs. Please.
I had the opportunity this spring, I had surgery on my right foot, and I couldn't drive, and I had medical appointments. And back in 2013, 2014, I was on the old hospital district's foundation board, where we started the transportation program.
Yes.
And I was so pleased and so happy to see it still going, really thriving, really expanding, and the drivers were prompt,
they were courteous, they were safe drivers. It was wonderful. I'm so happy to have an opportunity to say this. And so, good work. It's just fantastic, Joe. Excellent
We
work.
have a lot of people who have expressed similar sentiment. It's literally a lifesaver for people who just cannot get to their appointments. Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
serve Morongo Valley?
We do. It's not part of our, technically, not part of our service area. One little piece of Morongo Valley as you're going down the hill is, but Jackie Combs, our CEO, who's here this evening, feels that we need to expand and certainly reach that community, which we do.
Yeah, the reason that small section of Morongo Valley on the east end is because that used to be Yucca Valley. And then the sign got moved up to the top of the grade.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
These old timers are priceless.
Do you
All
come
these
to,
years, I never knew that.
do you come to the school?
We do.
To Morongo Valley Elementary?
We do, and
Oh, that's so
I'll get to
great.
that in a moment.
Okay.
So that's what's happening with our Lyft transportation program. But I'm also here this evening to talk about our new program, which is the mobile medical unit. I had a PowerPoint presentation, but I have something even better. We can go out and take a tour.
Yeah.
This evening hasn't been too long, and I know it's warm in here, but we can all go out and take a tour.
I want to see it.
It's lime green, it's very bright, and it's a 38-foot state-of-the-art clinic on wheels. It is an expansion of our clinic site. It's licensed as an expansion, and so we are going to places like Wonder Valley. We've gone to Copper Mountain College. We just went to Johnson Valley. We go to Sportsman's Lodge here in JT next door. We go to Reach Out Morongo Basin. At least we try to hit these places at least once a month or every other month. We've been to Yucca Mesa Community Center, and we go to Tortoise Rock. And the reason we go to the casino is they're a partner. They have helped us fund this program, and they believe in the health and wellness of our community. And so we said, hey, what if we came out there once a month? And they said, great. We're going out there for the first time in 2 weeks on a Saturday. So we're hoping we'll get a better response. But all in all, if you could help spread the word that the mobile unit is out, providing medical services once a week. We've had a slow start. You know, there's been people that tell us they want the service. They haven't been coming out yet. So we're going back, we're being consistent, we're showing up, and I think that's important. We're going in tandem with food drives, especially at Wonder Valley. Teresa Sitz has been really supportive. Everybody has been. Betty Munson in Johnson Valley, everybody's been very supportive.
And we do have a wheelchair lift on the
We
back
do.
of that too. So
Oh,
we'll-
Is your schedule of where you're going online or somewhere?
It is, it's on our website, which is mbhdistrict.org. So and we also do a news release every month. It does get picked up on the radio. I've seen it in the newspaper. So yeah, please help us to spread the word. There was some confusion in Johnson Valley where they didn't realize that we can see wheelchairs. We do have a lift, and so they said if they had known that, we might have had a better turnout. So
How
we're
about
working through the kinks.
How about Facebook?
We're on Facebook.
It seems like I've seen it.
Absolutely.
And Joe, when can we see this?
Let's go out there.
As
that Mark, you know.
Shall we adjourn to
there?
there? So Copper Mountain Mesa is on the waiting list, right? Dear?
The problem is, in all candor, some of these locations, the issue we've found not only is that particular location, the road is rough.
I
But
know.
the bigger issue is connectivity. We have found in some of these sites that the internet, and because we have a medical record online, we need internet access.
We have internet out there.
Yeah, we'll have to go out and try it out, because it needs.
Listen, this is not some backwater place.
It's not?
It has
Oh,
to be a
it's
certain
not.
bandwidth, I'm just saying, I've been told. Some of our locations, we're not able to transmit. The other thing that I
Yeah.
want to say real quick is that we are in partnership with the school district, and we are providing dental care in the schools. So the mobile unit is going to all the schools,
Out there.
including the upper grades, and we're providing dental services. So we're really
Right.
excited. A lot of
Yeah.
kids don't have a dental home.
Whatever.
So we're very excited about that. So we're out there, you'll see us out somewhere almost every day.
And Beverly's on our community health board?
Beverly Scott is here, she's on the community.
Do
clinic.
you need to plug into electricity to at the places that you stop?
No, we're self-contained. If we could do a 220 line, we'd really like to do that, but most places we just.
Yeah, we don't have 220, yeah.
All right, sure.
So shall we go out and we'll adjourn the meeting out there?
We should adjourn first.
We will.
Adjourn first?
Yes.
Okay.
And our next meeting is Monday, December 9th.
Ninth, that's right. Do I have a motion to adjourn or?
I'll be on a beach.
So moved.
Second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you all so
Oh my
much for
God,
coming.
these minutes.